Ashok Kumar, political economist, dismantles the Green Party anti-Semitism smear. Let's take a look.
Or about issues, but I don't think that
let's do that. Let's talk about issues.
Okay.
One thing I think we can all agree is a big story is the fact that we are seeing a massive increase in physical and verbal attacks on Jews in this country. The stabbing of two Jewish men by an alleged suspect currently who's already been charged, believed to be an Islamist attack, has caused great concern. We've been big summits in Downing Street, and we're going to be fast-tracking hate crime prosecutions and the like. Now, there's no doubt at all there is a problem of anti-Semitism within the Green Party, because the Green Party itself is investigating no less than 30 candidates who have been publicly identified as having made, posted or said or written blatantly anti-Semitic things called.
It's just crazy. I don't know how it keeps happening like this. It's so wild that anytime there is a party leadership or a party that's like critical of Israel in any way, shape, or form, anytime, there's always just some anti-Semites. There's always some anti-Semites around. They just like deploy it.
Jews, vermin, rats, celebrating the October 7th massacre, suggesting that Hamas are, resistance fighters.
What do you mean? Like suggesting that Hamas are resistance fighters? That statement in and of itself is not anti-Semitic, man. What the are you saying? I mean, that's literally just true, okay? It's just objectively true. They are a part of the Palestinian resistance. What the does that even mean? Like we've gotten to a point where it's like, unless you say every Palestinian, especially every like Hamas militant is not, you can't even say militant, actually. You need to say Hamas rapist barbarian. When you say Hamas, you have to say baby beheader. Otherwise, it's anti-Semitic. If you even dare to question whether or not Hamas have beheaded babies, you're also anti-Semitic. Just actually saying Hamas in and of itself is anti-Semitic. I've decided.
Our Green Party activist, let's talk about the issues. Is it an issue if you support a party and a party has as much support as the Green Party has garnered in recent months, which is basically siding with Islamist extremists and
like, you're racist. What do you mean siding with Islamic extremists? That's the other side of this puzzle that is endlessly frustrating. On the one hand, they try to pull the woke card, and then on the other hand, and this is how Zionism works, a very racist ideology. They immediately hit why are you siding with these like Arab barbarians who want to do jihad in the Western world? It's like, well, you can't have it both ways. What is this like? It's either equal opportunity bigotry or it's equal opportunity wokeness. We can't have DEI just for Jews, okay? And not even just for Jews, let's be real, because it doesn't even exist for Zach Polanski, who is Jewish. DEI just for pro-Israel Jews. What the is this argument? It makes no sense. It literally doesn't make sense. You can't just be like, wow, it's really messed up that you're attacking white men like this. How fucked up of you. So much for the tolerant left here. Okay, so much for the tolerant left. So much for the tolerant left. You're a pedophile because you're trans. Boom. It's like, okay, well, I guess you're not woke at all. Why am I expected to be woke then?
Semites and is putting up candidates in local elections who are blatantly, outrageously, disgustingly racist against Jews.
Oh,
okay. So
self-assured too. She's like, yeah, I really cooked on that one.
Firstly, we have over 4,500 candidates. We've gone from a party 6 months ago that was.
This is also the double standard. Like, this woman could call me anything under the sun. I mean, she's doing it to Muslims in general here, like calling them Islamist jihadists. But if you were to turn around and use the B word on her, right, immediately, not only would she automatically put on the tears, white woman tears, but then also you'd get yelled at by every feminist organization as well. Now, I'm not saying this is appropriate to do. I would never do it. But I just want you to understand, yes, the B word, British. But do you see what I mean? It's not even like this is not even like, oh, society cares a lot about feminism. Clearly they don't, right? We live in an unbelievably misogynistic, patriarchal society. That's not my argument at all. But I'm saying that there is like a priority of permissible bigotry and a system of varying degrees of stigma. And Islamophobia is not stigmatized at the institutional level at all, As a matter of fact, it's welcomed and it's rewarded. It's incredible.
60,000 to now having 230,000. And so, yeah, of course, needs to be a more thorough vetting process. But it's not that those 30 candidates are being investigated for anti-Semitism. They're being investigated for a series of comments, some of them racist, some of them sexist, or the accusations of that. They haven't been found guilty of that. And a large proportion of them are guilty of being critical of the state of Israel. Some of them, of course, are anti-Semitic, but a lot of them aren't. I think,
but no one's being investigated for being critical of Israel.
That's not true. That's not true. The list was released by a Labor dossier this morning. I'm sure you've seen it, and they are, for example, retweeting the Bob Dylan lyrics about debt to the IDF. I'm sorry, Julia, but that's not a crime. We're allowed to criticize and even call for the death of a foreign army. If I said debt to the IRGC, should that be criminalized? If I said debt to the Russian army, should that be criminalized? Should I be deselected as a Labor candidate or a Reform candidate?
The
or a Green
vast
candidate?
majority of these candidates are
Absolutely
being
not.
investigated.
I think there are parties that have platforms, and those platforms are the policies upon which we run on. Individuals who may have tweeted things years ago out of a massive list of candidates, I think that is not an accurate representation of the party. And I think I would say the same thing for Labor. I'd say the same thing for
I
Reform.
think when it continues to happen again and again and again, and you're saying it's a vetting problem, why do you could argue, why do those people think that the Green Party is the home for them?
Do you think that Reform is a racist and sexist party because of the dossier that was released by Labor last week?
But I think they do have a problem.
Why is it one rule?
What? You don't think Reform is a racist party, but they have a problem with racism, but you think the Green Party is an anti-Semitic party? What? Dude. These guys don't even try to entertain impartiality. Wow. This is just like the Tory leader going on TV and being like, no, I think Tommy Robinson, Yaxley Lennon should be able to do his anti-refugee rallies because they don't harm Jews, which they do, by the way. So that's also ridiculous. They do say anti-Semitic shit at those rallies. So it's holy you scared the shit out of me. So that's also ironic in and of itself. But pro-Palestinian rallies are deeply anti-Semitic and very scary for Jews, so they cannot continue. It's crazy. Like, they're not even doing the whole, like, oh, bigotry is bigotry. It's unacceptable no matter what. They're like, no, bigotry only goes one way, and that's the Green Party. That's crazy to me, that they're so open about their lack of standards for the Reform, and the only smoke they have is for the Greens.
One rule
no,
for
but I
Reform
didn't say the Green Party was anti-Semitic. I said you've got a problem with anti-Semitism. It's a different thing, isn't it?
I don't think there's a problem with anti-Semitism.
Yeah, okay.
I think that a small proportion of candidates who've said things in the past, they're being now investigated.
There are questions about
candidates
both,
is an indication.
There are questions about the likes on posts and the retweeting posts from not only Zach Polanski but also both deputy leaders as well. That would suggest there is an issue.
Tell me specifically.
There are so many pieces of paper in front of me.
There's so many.
Oh, I'm so frazzled. Oh, how dastardly. The levels of anti-Semitism of the Green Party candidacies is off the charts, I tell you. Here is Zach Polanski, your leader, the leader of your so-called decentralized Green Party, saying, oh, trigger warning for our audience. Free Palestine. Oh, how terrifying. Can you see the levels of anti-Semitism coming from the Jew himself? Zach Polanski. I, of course, am not Jewish myself, but I am pro-Israel and therefore know better between good Jews and bad Jews. That's right. How? Zach Polanski has liked a tweet declaring Palestine to be free from the river to the sea.
No. I'll message you afterwards, but you will have seen them.
I want to know. Please inform your viewers.
Oh my gosh, he's so frazzled. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I haven't seen them. I'd like to know
there
which
are
leaders have
absolutely plenty of
tweeted
them.
out.
I'm desperately
I
trying to
can't
find
wait
them
to
right
hear
now.
them.
Well, I will.
I'm literally in the edge of my seat, Julia, waiting for you to give us this.
By the way, what's up with this Green Party activist? This guy's maybe the reason why he's got smoke is because he's American, right? Dr. Ashok Kumar.
This vital breaking news.
Like he's just like I just realized his accent is not even British. Yeah, I mean, my God, respect. Hell yeah, Dr. Ashok Kumar, cook him.
Are running the party.
I'm held back by the fact I can't actually leave through things with plaster on my fingers, but there we are.
Oh, no.
Oh my God, this is like the Piers Morgan Russell Brand moment when Russell Brand is like, oh, I'm gonna find the Bible passage. 1 second, licking his finger, flipping through the Bible pages.
This is from Isaiah.
Well, you know, these are issues. I'm just Green Party leader shared a conspiracy theory. Rachel Millward, co-deputy leader, shared a conspiracy theory about the Golders Green attack in which 2 men were stabbed. Shared a post which claimed a third victim of the day was Muslim had been erased to suit a weaponized, desperate narrative.
That's just the truth. Oh my God, that's the one you pulled out. That's one of the anti-Semitic conspiracies. The idea that there was a third victim, that Sky News and numerous other major TV channels refused to admit that there was a third victim who happened to be Muslim, by the way, in an effort to present this as a deliberate, targeted, exclusive anti-Semitic attack. That's not an anti-Semitic conspiracy. That's just what happened. That's what you guys did. That's crazy. Just saying what happened. Saying what happened is an anti-Semitic conspiracy. Okay. If you don't call this a heinous Islamic crime, a jihad, which I'm sure people that look like you love, right? Muslim man, right? Then you're a heinous anti-Semite, which I already knew. Because you're brown and Muslim, I expect you to be anti-Semitic. That's why you would vote for an anti-Semitic Jew like Zach Polanski, the chief architect of anti-Semitism, perhaps worse than the Ayatollah, who you love and admire, I assume. You brown boys, you congregate and foment anti-Semitism as you narrow your eyes.
I mean, that's just one example. Mohsen Ali.
Wait, but how is that an example? You just read out, for example, earlier that there were 2 victims of that attack. In fact, there was 3 victims. The first victim was Muslim. Why is it an anti-Semitic or conspiratorial? Why haven't we mentioned that? The Prime Minister didn't mention that. The media hasn't mentioned that. There was a third. The first victim was Muslim. Do Muslim lives not matter? Just
he wasn't hospitalized. I think that's one. The attack was aimed at Jews. Is the viewpoint pretty much anybody involved?
But why not even mention that a Muslim was attacked first? And he was hospitalized, actually. But you know, his name's Ishmael Hussein. He was hospitalized, and we should name that his life matters too. That's not anti-Semitic. That's not anti-Jewish hatred. To simply mention the other person that was also stabbed.
Well, no, I think it's not the mention of it. It's the idea that the reason it's not mentioned is because of the conspiracy. Let's talk about.
Julia, let me just ask you. Do you think that people should that you should have mentioned that earlier in your program?
On the day they talked about 2. On the day when I was on air on the Thursday after that event had happened, and I went to Golders Green. There was only talk of 2 victims at the time.
But do you think it's a
the
problem that we don't mention?
Only spoke about 2 victims at the time. If you want to take that up the Metropolitan Police, that's an issue, isn't it?
But then you've just given the story and you've only mentioned 2 of the victims. I think three were stabbed.
Okay, but the Met Police.
I can't say it. He should be like, you should say it. Say it out loud. How many victims? Was it 2 or was it 2 or was it 3? How many victims were stabbed? What was the religion of the third victim, the first victim? It's like she can't even say, she's like, I can't. It's anti-Semitic for me to acknowledge this. I can't do it. I would never play your games, perfidious Islam. Your perfidious Islamo-communism. How dastardly, appalling, wanting me to say 3 victims rather than 2. Ah. Yes. I bet you'd want me to use numbers. What's next? Arabic numerals? How dare you? How dare you? I would never participate in algebra. More like gibberish to me.
Is that
the Met Police and the
Islamophobia,
Prime
not to mention
Minister
that?
keep talking about 2 Jewish men being stabbed.
Yeah, but you're a journalist.
Yeah,
You're a
but they weren't
leading
the people being
journalist. You're a leading journalist in this country.
They
Shouldn't
weren't
you
the
at least
people being
mention
who was being targeted?
a
Who do you
Muslim
believe
and
was
2
being
Jewish
targeted?
people? A Muslim and 2 Jewish people.
And you think the Muslim was targeted because he was Muslim?
She's like, actually, I've decided it was 3 victims of anti-Semitism. I bet the mass stabber thought the Muslim was Jew. That's right. How about that? Bet you have nothing to say about that, do you, Muslim man?
Well, I don't know, but I don't think we should not mention that. I don't know the full
You've already
story.
you've mentioned him, but there we are. Can I talk to you about? I've got very little time. I would
Maybe
like.
maybe I'm guilty of conspiracy theories because I mentioned
Well,
him.
you think there's a conspiracy theory behind? I don't think there is, and I think suggesting there's
No, there's
conspiracy.
Yeah, I like that she said there's no conspiracy here. I'm just doing it because I'm a piece of shit. Because she kept doing it too. Like she literally, with no sense of irony whatsoever, straight up leaned into the same statement that he was making, which is like, you know, the media just refuses to acknowledge that there was a Muslim victim. And she was like, what Muslim victim? I bet they thought he was Jewish too. Who's doing conspiracies now?
Conspiracy.
Okay, can I mention other, Can I talk about some other policies for the love of God? Please Asha.
Please.
Oh, so good. Oh my God, that was awesome. Respect to this guy.